Hi, welcome back to Den here. It's Large in part 2 of this largemouth bass wood carving. In part 1 I got all the body shaped out where I wanted it, and in part 2 I'm going to be carving the details on the gills and mouth and probably starting on the fins. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions about this process, you can leave them for me in the comment section below. And I want to take just a second to thank everyone for watching and following along. I've hit a milestone for me. It's not much in the world of YouTube content creators, but I've hit 2,000 subscribers, and that's a big deal for me. But I appreciate you guys watching and subscribing, and I hope you'll share the channel and be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like these videos, because that helps the channel grow as well. And if you're new to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell if you want to be notified of other new projects coming up. But anyway, I'm going to get this camera turned around here and get started on this, and we'll get going. So what I'm doing here is I'm going through, and you may have saw me do this in the first one, I'm cutting straight down on the drawings, and then I'm taking this hooked skew knife and I'm going back over here and I'm cutting in the relief of these lines here, and I'll do that on all this, and then start bringing it down. I want to start putting some definition in these gill plates. Let's see, I'm going to follow this one around here. By cutting straight down, it creates a stopping point for this blade when it comes up to it, so it kind of stops right there at where I cut down. I need to sharpen this knife. It's a little dull, but it's doing all right. I may have mentioned I'm going to be going to entering the World Taxidermy and Fish Carving Championship this August, and I'm thinking about doing a live, maybe doing a live daily broadcast down there. And just, you know, not a long, just a few minutes, just kind of show what the day's going like. And if you're interested in that, let me know in the comment section if that's something you'd like to see, because I don't want to do it if I'm not going to get a lot of participation, because one, I've never done it and I don't know what all's involved in it, and but I'd like to start doing some if y'all would be interested in that. So like I say, let me know in the comment section, and I'll think about doing that. I may need to practice doing it one afternoon here, and just seeing how much participation I can get in it. Otherwise, I'm just going to do I'll be shooting video daily, and then I'll do a video of the whole trip when I'm done. I was sitting here a minute ago working on this, and I looked up and saw a rat snake crawling across my yard right out here. I live in the country, so I see them frequently, all kinds of snakes out here. And no, I'm not afraid of them, and no, I don't kill any of them. So, been lived here for 55 years, and have never had a problem with them. And I have a pond about 70 yards in that direction And then there's a creek about 30 yards over here to my left. So I see moccasins, copperheads, all kinds of snakes out here. And I don't kill any of them. They all go about their way and they don't bother me. I take a picture or two now and then and just let them go. This is going to be tough getting those gill slits out. Still debating on whether to just cut them all out and then make gills to stick back in there. I don't know, I'll look at it for a while and see. I'm going to work on these this other area, refine these areas around the gills here first. I like to do that if I get stuck on something and I'm not real sure what I want to do. I'll leave it for a day or so and work on something else of it while I kind of think about it. Okay, I've decided I'm not going to try to carve the gills in the gill covers. I'm going to drill this out and grind it out, and I'm going to make the gills separate and then slide them in and glue them in place. So I'm just going to drill some pre-drill some holes here to get the drill bit started. This is probably not the most ideal way to do this, but I think it's going to be the best way to do it. So I need to tape off a depth that I want to use, because I want to keep the depth uniform, and probably about that an inch or so deep is all I need to go. So I'll just tape off the drill bit and I'll know how deep I need to go. And I'm just going to kind of go in at an angle where the gills are going to go. Probably didn't need to go that deep now that I look at it, but it'll be fine. I'll make it work. It's need to hollow out the inside of the gill just a little bit, and I'll do that with a ball nose, a little bit bigger bit. I was using this after I got the holes drilled. I used this extra coarse cuts all taper bit to get down in and hollow it out, so you can kind of see the results of that there. So I'll smooth everything out here and I'll get back to you. Now in tight quarters like this, you want to go slow and easy and don't force it, because if you grab that bit, it gets bound up, you can break the cable in your shaft. I used to break them regularly when I was using the Dremel flex shaft. It was breaking a heartbeat. So I'm just doing a little bit at a time. All right, I'll clean that up. Just like I say, I went a little too deep on the holes and drilling. It probably didn't need to go that deep, but it's not hurting anything because it's not showing anything inside there. All right, so I got everything hollowed out. I'm gonna start working on these gill cover rays here. I'm not sure what these are called. I knew at one point, and off the top of my head, I can't think what it is. But in the past, when I've carved a bass, this mouth was wider open, so these are flared a little bit more. But with this mouth partly closed, they're more folded up, so they're not going to see the little bones. Let's see if I got a. You're not going to see the individual little bones that that keep these rigid. Since his mouth is going to be partly closed, they're going to be more folded up on one another. So this is new to me on carving these, and I think I've got it. I'm just going to kind of carve a step in it so they're kind of folded up underneath one another. Hard to explain. So let me do the other side here. Okay, so how I'm going to decide what shape my gills are going to be to fit inside here is I'm going to take this piece of wire and bend it to the shape it needs to be. And I've got pictures of gills here, reference photos. These are the ones I used when I did the largemouth bass with the big open mouth. So I'm going to kind of mimic this shape, and there's 4 gills. I may, since the gills covered so much, I may only show 3 of them. So what I'll do is, like I say, I've got this piece of wire that I've got bent into the shape I need, and then I'll use that as a template to cut my other pieces. So there's my shape. You can see that in there. I can't get it to move, but all right, I got all the gills cut out. I'm gonna sharpen these up, the little gill rakers on these, and then they're all shaped. And now I'm gonna go through here and put the gill detail in, and I'm using this little diamond cut off saw, and I'm just gonna go through here and I'm gonna put all these little gill slots on it. I made these bigger also. Let me just show you that. But I made these a little bigger down here on the ends, where I can, once I get them all together, I can trim them to fit in the mouth. So it's easier to cut some off than it is to put it back on. So now I'm not doing real high detail on this because they're going to be pretty well covered in there. I just want it to more or less look like, I want it to have the flavor or the look of gills, but I'm not putting in just a ton of detail on them like I did on the other largemouth bass I did. I mean, I had them pretty well exact. I had to get a different bit out for that one. So you get the idea. I'm gonna do them all and I'll show you in a minute. All right, so here's the gills. These aren't 100% anatomically correct. I mean, they're not exact detail, but they're gonna be kind of hidden down, so you're not gonna see the back side of them or the exact shape. All you're gonna see is pretty much that. So now what I need to do is figure out how much of these I need to cut off. So I'm gonna have to cut them off so they fit down in there. That's why I cut them taller than what they needed to be. And I can already tell I'm gonna have to take about a 1/4 inch off of these. I think I can probably do that just with a pair of scissors. And I'll just trim them until they fit in there right. It's going to come down quite a bit more. That's why I left so much on it. And look at that angle in there. You need to go at the angle. A little bit more. Alright, I think that's got it. So now it's just going to be a matter of fit and finish on all these. So I think we're good there. So I'll do all that and then I'll glue them all together, then show them inside the gills. I'll paint them before I glue them in, but I'm gonna glue them all together then paint them. So I'll show you that when I'm all done. Okay, so here's the gills all glued together. See, this back part is not going to show that much, but it's there just because I did. So I got them glued together. And let's see here, let's put them in. This one goes in this side. So you can kind of see there. Looks like gills to me. And then I'll paint the inside of that first. That'll get painted first. And then I'll paint, the gills will be painted when I get ready to put those in there. And I still may do just a little bit of fit and finish in here. But I think they're looking pretty good. I may epoxy them in. And I fixed the hole. I had one hole that was drilled out too deep there, and I just put some sawdust from my grinding dust down in there and put some super glue in it and filled it in. Again, it wasn't going to show, but it's my OCD coming out on me. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more fit and finish, and then I'll be ready to move on to the fins. I'll be drawing those on again later. I want someone to start working on getting this tail down here. And I'm using this extra coarse cuts all. Just going to leave it rough like that, and I'm going to go to a finer bit here in a minute. And I've talked about this before, but just in case you haven't seen it, I've got the pectoral and pelvic fins cut out, and I leave them together in a segment like this so that it's easier to hold on to when I'm carving both sides, and when I get them down to where I want it, then I cut them apart. So this is just a lot easier to hold while I'm carving them. And generally on the pelvic and spiny fins, I carve the spiny and soft dorsal on the top together, but on a largemouth they're almost separated. They have a very thin piece to connect them here on the bottom. So I'm going to do them separate and then fit and finish them together to line up. So one of the things I've made a mistake on in the past. This is going to be the dorsal fin, the soft ray dorsal fin, and it'll ride back here. And one of the mistakes I've made is if I have motion in the fish, that spiny soft dorsal ray is going to will move with the body, so it'll be slightly curved with this one. In the past, I made the base of them, I just made my center line, and I've always did them straight, and then I ended up having to fix the curve in it. So this time I'm gonna make sure I draw the bottom center line is going to be curved a little bit, so it'll fit the slot better when it comes down to it. So I'm just going to draw in about 1/8 of an inch or so outside the edge of this that I'll take all this down to. I'm starting to get some good motion in it. So I'm gonna switch over to this flame burr a little bit and kind of define the caudal peduncle area here to get that where it's gonna blend in well with the tail. So I'm gonna get off camera here and redraw that and then start working on that. Okay, I redrew the definition, redefined the caudal peduncle, but you can see where I need to come on into that area where I carved the tail. So I'm going to do that on, I'm going to decide I need to bring it down more. I need to bring the tail down a little bit more on this side and the caudal peduncle down on this side. So I'm going to do that here. Alright, so I've got all the spines drawn in on the tail and all the other fins as well. So I'm going to start putting the detail on those. And I'm going to be using this little kind of an inverted cone. It's got basically kind of got a sharp edge, but I'm going to be using that on my Marathon high-speed rotary tool. And I am going to start on, I like to start on the hardest ones first, which is, to me, the hardest one is the pectoral fins, because the spines are a lot finer and it's harder to control the bit in it. So I'm going to start on this first and then work my way down and then finish up with the tail. And I'm going to be carving inside between the dark lines here. So I'm carving the relief with the bit. I really like this. It's a real thin wafered diamond bit. It's great for getting down and stuff like that. And it's a smaller shaft, so I have to use this little adapter, little collet adapter for it to fit. The spiny dorsal. Now I'm going through here and I'm just putting in where these fin rays split on the ends. Alright, so I'm going to cut the groove in here for the spiny dorsal and soft dorsal. I'm just using this little round diamond bit here. Do a little shallow cut first, and then just go deeper as I go. I need to come a little farther forward here. Okay, I've just about got all the slots drilled in here. I need to do this one over here. And these pectoral fins, one is going to stick out kind of far like that. And I want the other one to be more laid back against its body. Like that. So I need to cut this one at a pretty good angle here. and that might be far enough. So this one will stick out a little bit farther, like that. So I've got the slots for the pectoral fins, or the pelvic fins, cut. And the anal fin. And then the salt. And of course the gills are done here. Let's go ahead and slide those in space, the spot. I still got a little bit of touch up to do on these gills. And then I got just a little bit of fit and finish to do on the fins, but that gives you an idea of what I've got going here. And I broke this one a while ago, so I had to super glue it back on, but it'll be fine. All right, that's gonna be it for part 2 of this largemouth bass wood carving project. Got the fins all done, the gills are done. I'm glad I went ahead and drilled those out and made the gills separate. It looks a lot better, I think, than I could have done if I'd have tried to carve them in place. The fins aren't on permanently yet, just got them stuck in there so you can see it. And but I will, part 3 coming up, I will be mounting them permanently and burning scales on it, and probably mounting the eyes. Still got to make the eyes, and I'm going to do that off camera, but if you want to see how that's done, I have a video on that, so you can check it out. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up if you like these videos. And I'll see you guys on part 3.